It's goodbye till next week.
John Crawford equal on 90 points each, but Crawford faces an uphill task in the wet.
The inclement weather is going to work to my benefit, because to do it from the third row round somewhere like Brands Hatch, where it's difficult to pass with there being a tall order, but we've got the championship to play for, so it's pretty important for everybody.
In pole position here at Brands Hatch, Mike Edwards, 3 times a winner in the series so far. But the V&M Honda squad not very happy about the inclement weather conditions here at the Kent circuit. They're on the Indy circuit again, but V&M have made it a 1-2 in qualification with Edwards on pole, and alongside him his teammate Dave Heel. Heel yet to win a race this year, but top of the table along with Crawford. And Philip McCallan having some sort of problem out there on the grid. McCallan qualifying in 5th place, but the bike being wheeled away. And problems too for Mike Edwards, who's tumbled at Clearways on the warm-up lap, and he's bitterly disappointed with that. But, oh, by the looks of it, somebody stopped to give him a lift. And indeed, that's Steve Plater on the number 6 bike. So Plater ferrying the fallen Mike Edwards back to pit lane, while doubtless Mike Edwards' crew struggle to get the spare bike ready in time, and he'll have to start the race from the pit lane. Meanwhile, the rest of the field gets the green light and charges down towards Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. Looks like a clean getaway this time, but the conditions far from ideal. And that looks like Dave Heel, who's got the whole shot, and Heel indeed hits the front. But there's 1 or 2 unfamiliar names there as well. That's number 7, Adam Lewis from Andover, who's also in the forefront. 38, Simon Smith is up there too. And that's an amazing sight to see Adam Lewis hit the front of the field. Lewis not been among the front runners so far this year, but seizing the advantage here. And coming up the inside 68, that's Mark Wainwright. And the yellow bike there is Mick Corrigan, the winner at Cadwell Park in the rain. As yet another rider runs wide there. But at the front of the field at the moment, it's number 7, Adam Lewis, aboard his Yamaha. 68, Mark Wainwright in 2nd place. Simon Smith is 38 in 3rd spot. And Mick Corrigan in 4th position aboard that all-yellow Yamaha Thundercat. Dave Heel has dropped back already, deciding perhaps that the pace is a little bit too hot in these early stages, and he'd rather steer clear of trouble. It's always nice to win a race, but as far as he's concerned, it's the championship he's got his eye on. And another good performance here from Mick Corrigan could serve him very well too, as far as the championship is concerned. This is Dave Heel aboard that Honda, but disappointment for Dave Heel's teammate Mike Edwards, the pole position man, after that tumble on the warm-up lap. He's not been allowed to start from the pit lane. The officials say he should have been checked over by medics after that fall. So Mike Edwards out of the race, and no chance of adding to his 3 wins in the championship so far. Meanwhile, the race leader is still Adam Lewis, number 7 on the Yamaha, but coming up on the inside is Mark Wainwright, and Wainwright hits the front. So a couple of unfamiliar names there at the front of this Thunderbike field. And Simon Smith too on that number 38 bike, the all-blue bike. There's another name who's hardly on everybody's lips at the moment, but these riders seizing their chance to try and make a name for themselves in these conditions here at Brands Hatch. It's quite wet out there. There's no lying water, so it's neither really one thing nor the other, and that makes conditions very, very tricky indeed. Wainwright, Lewis, Smith and Corrigan, and they've got quite a healthy lead over the rest of the field. There's a yellow flag being waved, so it looks like there's some problem already out there on the circuit. Lewis and Smith just disputing that 2nd place at the moment, as Wainwright is clear at the front, and up comes Corrigan. But you can see there that Corrigan was taking no chances on late braking into Paddock Hill Bend. He's going to let them carry on, fight it out in front of them. Already a winner, remember, at Cadwell Park in the rain. Likes these conditions better than most. And the Yamaha Thundercat really coming to the fore at the moment in this British Thunderbike Super Cup. Wainwright leading, Lewis in 2nd spot, but Simon Smith harrying him all the way for that 2nd place. Meanwhile, Corrigan sitting there in 4th, just maintaining the pace, shadowing these much less experienced riders all around the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. Now, was there a touch there between Smith and Lewis? It looked very much like it to me. They were very close together, and with track conditions as slippery and treacherous as they are, that's pretty inadvisable tactics. Survival was going to be the name of the game come the end of this 24-lap encounter. This, the 9th round of the British Thunderbike Super Cup and the second at Brands Hatch on the Indy circuit. And Dave Heel has dropped right back. Obviously the conditions here not to his liking at all. He wants to maintain those tyres and make sure that they don't go off as the race progresses. So maybe he's just slackened the pace, and he will pick it up again in the late stages of the race. Wainwright leading, Smith now in second spot. Smith looking like he wants to go all the way around the outside. Well, I don't think he's going to manage that. Oh, down goes Wainwright. The race leader crashes out. Mark Wainwright out of the race. He's running back towards the bike to see if he can get it going again. The marshal's there straight away. Oh, and so too does Simon Smith within a couple of moments of each other. Oh, and that bike of Simon Smith's catapulting up into the air as soon as it hits the gravel trap over the tyre wall. Smith perfectly okay, but obviously very disappointed. His big chance possibly ending there in that crash. Well, Mick Corrigan will have watched all that happen, and the result is that he has inherited the lead. Corrigan leads, Lewis in second spot. The yellow flags are out all around the circuit. Corrigan takes a long look over his shoulder to see what the score is behind him. The score is that Adam Lewis, who led this race off the line, is the man in second place. And Lewis isn't scared of him, is he? Right up the inside to retake the lead. Adam Lewis leads Mick Corrigan. And Lewis, the Hampshire rider from Thruxton, another famous name in motorcycle road racing. And scene of the second round of this series back in April. Lewis that leads, Corrigan in second spot. And remember early on we saw Philip McCallan pushing his bike off the grid. Well, he did start the race from pit lane. He's way down in about 20th position at the moment, fighting his way through the pack in an effort to grab some points. But it's going to be an uphill task for him. Meanwhile, terrific action from Corrigan and Lewis. Corrigan obviously got a bit more confidence as the race has worn on, but Lewis certainly isn't scared of the Yorkshireman. Corrigan in second spot, and there's Steve Plater just cruising around for some reason. I don't know whether he's hit some sort of a problem. Still Adam Lewis leading, Mick Corrigan in second position. Quite a long way ahead. Well, they were quite a long way ahead, but then all of a sudden up into the picture is coming the number 87 machine of Gary Weston, and Weston has absolutely rocketed up the field. Pace slightly slackened perhaps at the front, but Weston has kept the hammer down, and it's Gary Weston up into third place now. So the 1, 2, 3, Corrigan in the lead on that Yamaha Thundercat. In second place, it's Lewis, also on a Yamaha, and Gary Weston coming up into that third spot on the third of the Yamahas. Philip McCallan, oh, and McCallan goes down, loses the front end at Clearways, and disappointment again for Philip McCallan. It's a miracle he's in this race at all after breaking his shoulder in that crash at Mallory Park. He had physio 3 times a day in order to get back in. He's determined to get back into the race, but I think that spells the end of the hopes of the Ulsterman. John Crawford, meanwhile, joint leader of the championship with Dave Heel. The Kawasaki man not happy with these conditions, as Philip McCallan, well, he is absolutely determined to get back into the action, to the applause of the crowd, but it's clearly not been his day at Brands Hatch. Meanwhile, oh, disappointment there for Adam Lewis, and he is furious with his machine. Some sort of a problem there for the Yamaha, It looks like the engine has given up the ghost. Oh, and a fall or two there at Paddock Hill Bend. And that's Ian Knight on the Tilston Motorcycles Honda. Disappointment too for him, and a wrecked motorcycle too. Ian Simpson, meanwhile, aboard the Semicom Sanyo Yamaha, coming into the picture for the first time. And Dave Heel on the charge too, charging back through the field. He had a good start, but then dropped back, and now he's on the go again, picking off places one by one. 87, Gary Weston. 10 is Ian Simpson. Number 8, Dave Martin. But the man to keep an eye on is number 2, Dave Heel, the man from Sussex. And Heel can move ahead in the championship chase if he can just pick up a few more places. Everything to play for. Heel yet to win a race in this series, and I think that probably is out of reach now in this race, but he can still get a firm grip on the championship going into the final round at Donington Park. Heel looking in determined mood on that V&M Honda. Crosses the start and finish line one more time, but time is running out. Weston in second, Simpson is third. Pete Jennings in fourth position aboard the number 4 bike. Then it's 8, Dave Martin. Then number 2, Dave Heel. 27 is Stuart Wickens. Simpson well used to these sort of conditions. He quite likes the rain. Jennings in his wheel tracks. And a good ride here from Gary Weston. Probably his best ride of the year so far. Jennings moves up onto the rear wheel of Ian Simpson. Scott, by far the most experienced of this group. But Mick Corrigan, the race leader, way out front at the moment. G7 is Weston. Right on his tail, Simpson. And the Yamaha's definitely coming into its own in the closing stages of the season. Honda's dominated early on, but the Yamaha and the Kawasaki, of course, of John Crawford in form too. But it's Weston second, Simpson in third spot, Jennings is fourth, Heel right on their tails in fifth position at the moment, and a twitch there from Jennings. The rear end of his machine just stepping out there as he fed in the power just that little bit too early. Weston around Surtees, heading up towards Clearways, but he runs a bit wide, allowing Simpson to go through and pick up that second place. So Simpson in second, and even a wave of apology there just in case Ian Simpson cut it a bit fine going through to take up that second spot. Mick Corrigan, the race leader, way out front and pulling further clear by the lap. He's about 4 seconds clear now. Weston in third, Jennings coming under pressure in fourth place from Dave Heel. Dave Martin, number 8. Still hanging on at the back of that group, and up a place goes Dave Heel, getting the better of Jennings, and you get the feeling that Heel is the man on the charge. Weston grabs back second from Ian Simpson. As they go down the hill one more time, it's Weston who's beginning to pull clear in that second spot from Simpson and Heel. Weston managed to cling on to this second place until the checkered flag. It would be by far his best performance of the year, previous best, a 7th place. So everything to play for as far as Weston is concerned. And they're coming up among the tail enders, and through another place goes Dave Heel. He's now up into third spot. And that third spot will give him the lead in the championship if things stay like this. And he's now up into second spot, and problems for Gary Weston. Well, they've certainly got among the back markers. That's at number 40, Anita Buxton. And a few female riders on the British scene. So after that sort out, it's Dave Heel zooming up into second spot. In third, it's Ian Simpson. In fourth place, Gary Weston. Fifth is Pete Jennings. Behind Pete Jennings is Dave Martin. Then 69, Andy Tinsley. That's the way it is at the moment, as as this race heads towards its climax. And scraps going on all the time. This the scrap between Jennings, Martin and Tinsley. And those all-important points being disputed all the way around this Brands Hatch Indy circuit through Paddock Hill Bend. It's Martin that has the advantage. Oh, and there's another faller at Clearways, losing the front end. 71, Steve Gridley, the Crawley rider. Oh, and he's disappointed too, but it's no use taking it out on the bike. Pushes the marshals away and stumps off into the distance. Crawford, meanwhile, not having the best of rides aboard his Kawasaki. Simpson, Weston, then Martin and Tinsley and Jennings. There's Crawford through Clearways. Oh, and down he goes at Clearways. Crawford and the Kawasaki bite the dust. He's immediately up on his feet, immediately hauling the bike upright, giving the front brake lever a bash to get it back into shape. This is the race leader, Mick Corrigan, heading towards his second win of the series, and Crawford gets going again. Oh, but in a huge plume of gravel. He gives it too much of a right handful, and his race is over. John Crawford will be very, very disappointed in that. That's the second place man, Dave Hill, heading towards 20 championship points. Mick Corrigan will get 25. And that will put Corrigan in second place in the series, and Dave Hill clear out front. A win then for Corrigan at Brands Hatch, and delighted he is about it. Corrigan, a winner at Cadwell Park, a winner at Brands Hatch, and there's confirmation. Corrigan, Heel and Simpson, the 1, 2, 3, Martin, Tinsley and Jennings completing the top 6.
Got a bit of a bad start, and I just sat behind them for a few laps, and I thought, well, these lads are going quite quick. And I didn't think they'd finish. I didn't think they'd finish where they were braking and that, so I just followed them for a few laps, really. And then they all crashed. And then I just got at front and just watched my lap timer, watched my board, and yeah, it all worked out fine again.
So Mick Corrigan getting the tactics absolutely right, and it paying off in spades. 25 championship points for him. And Corrigan lifts the silverware yet again, as we find out exactly what went wrong for John Crawford.
Really, I started riding over the ability of the grip that I had on the bike, and I just tried a little bit too hard. I could see Dave Hill edging away, and I thought, I've got to get some better points than I have just now. And I just went into Clearways just a little bit too quick, and that was it. Lost the front end, and I tried to restart, but I had too much damage to the bike.
8 points the gap then at the top of the championship table, and Dave Heel and Mick Corrigan heading for a final round showdown at Donington Park. Heel has his eyes on the title.
All year long it's been an unbelievable season. I mean, last year I won 5 out of the 8 races, and I never won the championship. I missed it by 1 point, but this year it's just been a case of consistently, clocking it out when I've just got that championship so pinned in my mind that I want it. I've just got to win it, desperate to win it.
Corner